So I've had a lot of thoughts bouncing around in my dome piece lately, and I just feel like I need to get those thoughts out in a video. So this is kind of like a speculative meaning of life type of video, and today's topic is the real life algorithm. So I'm sure we've all heard by now that it's possible we live in a simulation. That means different things to different people, but it's definitely something I like to entertain, if nothing else, just for fun. I think about it a lot, not saying I subscribe to it, but I like to try to see where it seems to apply. You've probably also heard of the term synchronicity, which is defined as the simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. Basically, a synchronicity is like a weird coincidence. Okay, so I've laid both of those terms out, simulation theory and synchronicity. Let's move forward with both of those in mind. So in recent years, before we really started to understand targeted ads fully, a lot of us were really freaked out by it. I mean, for example, let's say you're talking about how you probably need to get some new Nike shoes, and then when you get online, your first ad is for Nike shoes, right? That kind of stuff used to really creep people out. But now we've kind of just come to accept that we're being observed and listened to all the time and being fed targeted ads due to relevancy. It is an algorithm. Lately, I've started to notice that the activity of the behavior of algorithms, whether it's like targeted ads or like suggested pages on whatever platform, like on the Explore page or what have you, this algorithmic behavior does bear resemblance to the synchronicity and manifestations we experience in real life. Before we continue, I wanted to give some examples of synchronicity from my life, just in case it helps paint the picture, okay? So this first one was one of the creepiest, okay? It was a few years ago. I'm at work. I'm sitting at my desk. It's like summer, so it's not very busy. So I have my personal laptop sitting on my desk, and I was organizing some of my music. So let's say you're where the door is, and my laptop is like this, so I'm looking at it. The back of the laptop's facing the door. So my coworker, he'll walk down the hall and like, give me a thumbs up or say hey and like keep walking down the hall. That's just what he does. So I'm in the middle of organizing my music and I'm looking at Mayhem. I'm looking at the Mayhem files. And my friend comes in the door and starts walking down the hall, and he just sticks his head in my office and goes, Mayhem, and keeps walking. I was like, he doesn't listen to metal. He doesn't know there's a band named Mayhem. He doesn't know I was looking at Mayhem's files right there. He was saying Mayhem because it was like a crazy day for him. What is that? Okay. All right, another example. I'm watching Giallo movies right now. So I recently watched a Giallo called Black Belly of the Tarantula, and it stars this actor. I thought he was great. So I watched a review. This is a couple months later. I watched a review of Black Belly of the Tarantula, and the guys were discussing the lead actor and just saying like, he's really great, and he actually has a really recognizable face, and he's been in a lot of movies, and it's easy to like pick him out and be like, oh, that's that guy again. And I was like, that's cool, whatever. And then I go home and I'm gonna watch a movie. I'm having a movie night, and I decided to take a break from Giallo, so I got on HBO and I had made a little playlist of any of the horror movies on there. So I just picked this movie called Darkness because I thought it looked good or whatever. Guess who's in that movie? This guy. He's in the movie. And furthermore, I don't think I would have realized it was him if I hadn't watched that review that day saying that you can recognize him in other movies. Do you get what I'm saying? So I watched Black Belly. Cool. Watched this review, which made it possible for then when I watched Darkness for me to connect the two. I hope I'm conveying how bizarre this is. These movies are not related. A 70s Italian Giallo 2000s American Horror. Review in the middle tied them both together. If I didn't watch the review, I wouldn't have even caught the connection. Stuff like this just blows my mind. And that's the thing about synchronicities, is it's meaningful to me. I can tell you the story, but you could still be like, oh, well, whatever. But the thing about synchronicities is they're deeply meaningful and bizarre to you. Mostly only you. It's a customized experience. It's a personal experience. Okay, so the last little synchronicity I want to mention kind of blends targeted ads and real life synchronicity. So I was cleaning for my mom the other day. Nobody was home. It was just me. I'm just cleaning the kitchen and putting up some clean dishes, and I got these bottles that were from her SodaStream machine, and I went and put them up by the machine, and I was just like, feeling the machine and looking at it and stuff, because I've never really seen one. Anyway, whatever. I'm not really thinking about it. I don't really care. But then it was either like that day or the same day, I get an ad on Instagram for the SodaStream. I've never had a SodaStream ad before, ever. So that is weird. How does Instagram know I'm near a SodaStream machine? So is this like a targeted ad with some sort of advanced mind reading technology? Or is it a synchronicity? You know what I mean? Or is it nothing? Okay. Skeptics, save it. I've explored skepticism fully. All right. We are trying to entertain ideas in this video. Okay, so here's what I'm getting at. Synchronicities happen in our life due to the algorithm of this simulation that we live in. Perhaps this is just an idea. So when I first started thinking about this concept, this idea that all these meaningful synchronicities are just a programmed algorithm, it was a little sad, because up until this point, I've kind of liked to think that synchronicities are like God or your guardian angels or spirit or the universe or whatever, like giving you a little thumbs up, like telling you, you got this, like this is a sign for you, you're on the right path, or I see you. It always just, I feel like a lot of us consider it to be some sort of divine communication. But if we look at this like an algorithm, it takes God out of it. This would make this a godless phenomenon, perhaps. It's automated, okay? It's a formula, it's a program. An algorithm that's not really divine sounding. Now I know it could be divine, but bear with me. So yeah, I was kind of like, oh, but that feels lonely if we're in a simulation and it's just an algorithm that explains all these like cool phenomena in our lives. That's just lonely. Then I thought about it some more. Every time a synchronicity occurs in your life, it's confirming that the algorithm is listening. The algorithm is responding to what you're putting out. This could mean great things for manifestation if you can figure out how to get the algorithm to work for you. Sure, it could be sad that this isn't God, but that means the power could be in your hands. It's just between you and the algorithm. When you browse online, you attract ads, you attract suggestions, customized just for you. So maybe when you have hopes and dreams and expectations in real life that you put out into the universe in real life, a lot of times you do kind of attract what you expect. What if life, your life, is a big For You page and you play a huge role in what appears on your For You page? This idea would also really support the concept that like words are magic, words have power. Be careful like what you say, be careful what you put out there. So if you like speak in self-love, if you radiate positivity, if you have just like really positive expectations from your future, perhaps that is what the algorithm is going to bring back to you. I mean, obviously those ideas are more abstract. They're not like concrete manifestations like money or a car or a house or whatever, but maybe that holds true as well. Like what if every affirmation or intention you put out there is the same as like using a hashtag? You're going to become associated with that hashtag and you're going to see more of that content online. What if it's similar in your real life presence? Okay, to further support this idea, you know how in like manifestation, intention setting, affirmation circles, they emphasize that you don't want to say what you don't want. You have to say what you do want. So you can't say, I want to feel less sick. You have to say, I want to feel healthy. You know what I'm saying? Because the universe would just hear sick, and that's the key word that it will bring back to you. So similarly, let's say you search online how to not get pregnant. Perhaps, I don't know, I haven't tested this function, but perhaps Google would see the word pregnant, and from there you'd maybe get some ads for baby stuff. You know what I mean? So the same way you search on Google and what results you might get on Google is the same sort of rule of thumb in manifestation circles in terms of just not saying what you don't want. This outlook of the algorithm as a tool within the simulation that you live in could mean great things for manifestation, curation of your life, customization of your life. Again, okay, I know this is just a different way of looking at an idea that's nothing new, but I thought it was really fun because it's kind of empowering. It's an empowering way to look at things. And I'm not trying to say I came up with this idea or anything, but it's just this is my perspective. This is what I'm thinking about right now. Also, I'm not saying I believe this. It's just a fun thing to entertain. Anyway, let me know what you think. What do you think about simulation theory? What do you think about synchronicities? Do you have any special synchronicities to share? Please do. And that concludes tonight's pensive existential exploration. Good night.